Hello, everybody. It's the anticipated wait that I know a lot of you are having a lot of questions about. We are going to be talking about our junior football academy changes. Um, I'm Chris Hatton, and this is,
Lee Jones.
as most of you already know, we're taking a bit of a different approach to September 2024, and we wanted to explain to you sort of the reasons why we're doing those changes, how they're going to work, and sort of the reasoning for us to take this change with our junior academy. So we've put it into a program here that we're going to run through, and we will send this out to you. As you probably are aware, because we've been speaking about these changes, most of our junior academy players received one of our feedback cards, and at the bottom it was sort of showing them what tier, what level they're going to be training with and playing with for the upcoming season. So I'm going to pass you over to Lee now, who's obviously done a little bit he's done most of the work on the restructure. And sorry if when you're watching this, the box, our filming box is covering some of the words, but like I said, it's going to be sent out to you. Before Lee sort of tells you about the restructure, I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of sort of where we started to where we are now. So our junior football academy started actually in 2009 with our first group, which was actually over at Tomlinscote Sports Centre. And obviously you can imagine how much older those players are now and where they've moved on to, and how we've actually experienced still working with them to this day, either at a coaching capacity or them coaching or us coaching them still to this day. So sort of the foundations and the growth that we've put into this program have come from a long period of time. Now, when we first started off this program, it was actually devised with us one group where we were actually travelling around to sort of some Premiership and top elite level clubs. So we sort of want to get back to trying to hopefully try and make this sort of slightly more elite in where we're going. So I'll just pass you over to Lee, and he can obviously explain a little bit about the restructure.
Yeah, so obviously, as it says on the slide there, over the years, since I first started working, the amount of players, amount of coaches, the amount of sessions we offer has increased. And with that, so has the ability level of, all of the players. And we feel like it's the right time to start streamlining it a little bit more so that people are challenged appropriately for the level they're playing at. I think a big reason for me is there's quite a few sort of players over the years that we've sort of lost, and when players leave after being with us for a long time, we have a little conversation with them and their parents to see like why. And quite often the feedback was that they feel like they're not quite being challenged enough anymore, which for us, it hurts a little bit, to be honest, because, if you have them from 6, 7 up to sort of 10, 11, and then they go elsewhere, they're not just like a number on a spreadsheet. We build good relationships with our players, and the feedback quite often is that they feel like they're not being quite challenged enough anymore. So that's kind of the change that we want to make. Like I say, children develop differently. I wouldn't say there's massive differences across, like, ability-wise across all of our age groups. I think all of our age groups are very strong, but within those age groups, there are players that are a little bit further on than others, and we just want to make sure they're challenged appropriately so they're developing at the way they need to.
Yeah, I think it's Lee's obviously come into this role for a couple of years now, being the coordinator, and he's done a fantastic job. But he's identified these areas, and he wanted to make the restructure as of this year, which it's obviously going to be change, and not a lot of people like change, but we're hoping you embrace it and have a good understanding of sort of what our pathway is. We see kids from all the way from 4 all the way up to sort of 19. So we have pre-academy, junior academy, youth academy, and then our full-time college program, which is where we've seen somebody from when we first started in 2009 go all the way through up into the college and complete their time at the college as well, and are now playing a higher level of football. So the junior academy restructure is definitely going to help. And for those that don't know, our youth academy structure is obviously a time when they go into under 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s. It then breaks off into training twice a week and playing within our team under our club on Saturday mornings. So we'll just go through to the next slide of sort of how we're sort of running this in tiers. So if you're quite familiar with the sort of the Surrey Heath and the local area, a lot of the schools follow a system and a tier system of hire, aspire, inspire. So when it becomes more competitive in the schools, if they're going to play football, netball, rounders, the children and the students in the school are normally put within one of these three sort of categories. So this is where we're taking our programme now, our junior academy, to 3-tier system: hire, aspire and inspire. And I think it's good for each individual that's within one of those groups are there because they should be challenged within their group. They're not slightly falling behind, or they're not excelling and going and beyond. And I think it's a good discipline for them to say, if they are in higher, to maintain your standards and keep wanting to push on and get better. If you're in the aspire, just speaking with the coaches and looking at the players that are within that group and trying to push on to then hopefully be moved up to the higher group. And then sort of the inspire is we get quite a few messages from people that are interested in coming in, but obviously the level's a little bit too high. It's probably more of a foundation beginner level, and then it gives them their own personal journey of going from inspire to aspire and then higher. So these are the three sort of tiers that we want to be working with from September 2024. And I'll let you sort of go on to...
Cool. So obviously higher will be like our top centre. So that's going to run on Wednesdays, and that's an hour and a half, 4:30 till 6 p.m. And all age groups for higher will do the Wednesday slot. So like it says there, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s and 12s will all do the Wednesday 4:30 till 6. We've got the whole pitch, and we'll obviously separate the pitch into the age groups. But that's what the higher group will be, and then obviously it includes they get an hour and a half training per week. With the Friday matches that we're doing, we still have the Friday matches, but it will be grouped off. So one week the under 8 higher might have a game. Next week under 8 aspire might have a game, for example. So they will still get games. It will just be more tailored, which obviously is, again, it fits the theme of us making sure that everyone's challenged at the right level. Higher class still get the half-term training session, and then at the bottom it says personal improvement plans there. Now that's just sort of regular feedback from us as coaches, so whether that's just a little informal chat with each player towards the end of a half-term, whether that's another one of the report cards, there's just going to be regular check-ins with each individual player just to say, how are you finding it? What do you think your strengths are? What do you think your targets are? And then we obviously have that conversation and give them that feedback, just so they're aware of what they need to keep working on.
And obviously, where it says the Friday matches, obviously higher fixtures as well. These are going to be within the group that we're going to be starting to challenge ourselves at more of a competitive level, whether it's against other private academies or hopefully against some professional clubs, whether it's Premiership, Championship. Our aim is to try and showcase them there, because my scouting background and working within a pro club, like bringing in different providers and getting the academy boys there to face up against sort of some of the local private academies, is a good way to showcase them. And if there's any players there that they want to bring in for a trial, it's great. It sort of shows that the program of our higher programs working. And then the thing that you probably noticed there is the direct debit is staying exactly the same. It's near enough what we offered last time, just tailored to slightly different groups. Now, one thing that you've got to be patient with the higher is it may start that some age groups have got quite low numbers. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like if we've got 6 in one age group, it's going to be a very high intensity 6 session. But we do want to make sure that when we add people to those to the higher centres, they are the right fit for that centre. Some centres might have sort of maxed out at maybe like 12, possibly 16, like higher group players, but some of them might be lower numbers. So something to bear with. And to be honest with you, you're probably getting more out of less within a session anyway. That's why most people pay so much for like one-to-one coaching. So just something to be wary of when it comes around to September.
Cool. So Aspire is going to be sort of our middle level, and this is sort of just a rebrand of what everyone is at currently. So the way we've sort of done it is no one is being moved down. So that's something that we wanted to stress, because I think a couple of the kids were concerned. So no one's being moved down. Obviously, some people are being pushed up into the higher group, but Aspire is basically the middle group, which is obviously what we've been at currently. So that's on Mondays, and again, for all age groups. But if you have a look at the times, it's an hour session. So you've got under 6s and under 7s are classed as pre-academy. So the under 6s and under 7s, they won't have higher and Aspire and Inspire. They are just pre-academy. That's sort of prepping them for when they finish under 7s to then be placed into, obviously, their group. So 5 to 6, you've got the under 8s, Aspire, and a goalkeeper session. All goalkeepers are going to go together for that slot. And then 6 to 7, you've got the 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s just on a quarter each. Obviously, with it being an hour and not an hour and a half, the direct debit does change slightly. It goes from 34 down to 30. And you can see there at the bottom what it includes. So you get your hour of training, you get your Friday matches, you still get your 50% off the half terms, and then your opportunities to progress to the higher group. The only thing you may find that's changed with the Aspire to what we've offered this year is the half-term training days and stuff. They're going to be tailored and sort of aimed at the higher group. So again, that's something that we can obviously, players in the Aspire can strive to, but when we're in those half terms, it's going to be, like Chris just said, a great opportunity for those higher players to maybe go and be showcased elsewhere, or to bring some teams into play when you have that flexibility of the pitch during half term.
And it also gives opportunity during those half terms holidays, because I mean, half terms you have 3 during the year. If there is players that are slowly starting to excel at the Aspire centres, they may be asked to come in on one of those half terms holidays to sort of see where they're at. But typically the Aspire players aren't too far off where the Highers are. But we mentioned in there the 4 corners of football. So it might just be that the technical side of the game needs a little bit of improvement, or the tactical knowledge and understanding. It might be the physical side of the game, or obviously the psychological part of the game, which is, there are 4 areas that we try and strengthen. And it might just be that one of those needs a little bit more work. And then obviously speaking to the coaches that are within your Aspire group, it sort of gives you an aim of what you can do outside of coaching with us, because I think that's where, you know, we want to try and educate people to, yes, you've got to maximise your time with us, but try and maximise your time outside of what we're doing. And then we've got the Inspire.
Yeah, so you've got the Inspire, which is on Fridays, 5 till 6, and that's for all age groups. And you see there the direct debit for that is £28 for the year. This is because this group don't have the matches, so this is sort of our intro level. You know, trying to build off a foundation. You know, try and develop that love and that passion for football. They still get the hour of training in term time, 50% off still, and then opportunities from there to progress into the Aspire group. So there's chances. So if you're in the higher group, obviously, like Chris said earlier, you've got to try and maintain that and try and stay in the higher group. If you're in Aspire or Inspire, there will be opportunities, obviously, to progress up into the next tier.
And I think it's safe to say for us that if you find yourself in the higher group and the higher group's developing and you might need some work in another area, we would have those open, honest chats with you that at some points it might be worth just dropping down into the Aspire. But communication and honesty like that's going to be key. I think it's probably, we will do some real analysis of who's going up, but it's also about monitoring and maintaining, because I think we've got to prepare these not just for football but for life, that sometimes you have success and then you might be dropped down into another area, or you might not have the success in certain industries or whatever, and they've just got to get used to being able to dealing with that rejection, dealing with that sort of promotion and success. So we'll have those honest and open chats, but it's not a case of when you're in the higher, that's it, yes, I've made it, because psychologically you've got to make sure you're maintaining yourself within that position. And just to clear up there, Lee obviously said £28 for the year. It's not for the year, it's £28 per month for 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
But also, just a quick little mention on that is sometimes we do get the questions about the direct debits that we take out. It does cover the programme for the whole year. So even during the half terms and holidays when we're not training, we basically have this payment that we split up over the 12 months, which is why it includes the half-term holidays for the 50% off. Sometimes people will say to us, "Oh, why am I paying in August when I'm not? We're not got any coaching in August." With the reason being is because we split it up over 12. You know, technically we could move it to 11 months a year, but the price per month is just going to go up. So it's just an easy way of sort of spreading it out for us. So yeah, it's we're really excited about this. I think it's gonna. I'm hoping it's gonna go down really well, but I think the biggest thing is the sort of why we are going to do this, and I think Lee's obviously touched on it from the start, that, you know, we're unique in many ways, but we understand that there's other competition out there and around there that have got some great programs going on. Some of them are very elitist, some of them are a little bit mixed. We just want to try and create a program that's suited for all, and I think it's the best way forward. We have to be honest and open with every single one of you, and there will always be a place for you. It's just where you go is where we would advise it. And I know sometimes it might be difficult to accept and take, but we will obviously have those discussions sort of as a coaching group, a management team, of sort of where we're going to place people, and we're more than happy to have that conversation. So the restructure, I think, is going to be a positive one, and it definitely strengthens our junior academy with the potential of even helping our youth academy when we get up to those 13s to 16s age groups. I'm hoping that's sort of giving you a good insight of what's happening, when it's happening. Now, I did have a couple of conversations with some parents recently that were saying that, because naturally when you get to under 9s going to under 10s, you move days anyway, and some parents said to me, well, you know, we've been offered a higher, but we can't make the higher slot. In those situations, if you were happy to go for the Aspire, we'd be happy for you to train there, but just to let you know that the higher group is of a level which you would be best at. Some people don't want to leave, but they still want to train. Obviously, we'd be happy to take a higher as an Aspire, but it's sort of, you know, we're just letting you know that that's where the higher group will train, Aspire group will train, and we don't want anyone to get frustrated with where they're at, which is why this is sort of the program that we're sending out now, ready for September. But just have those communications with us. And even to the point where, you know, you might ask us after one half a term or a whole term, do you think there's any movements from going to Inspire to Aspire, Aspire to higher? We can have those honest conversations, and we'd be like, not yet. There's certain areas that you need to still work on. The best thing that we've always learned and told people is that this is now a chance for us to really develop this and try and sort of segregate, help as many as we can, but segregate into them for the maximum learning. Every person needs to be stretched within this program, and we can't have you in your comfort zone. We can't have you panicking. We just got to have you stretched. When you're stretched and you're learning, that's the best place for you to be to try and grow. So yeah, I appreciate you coming in. Only 20 minutes long, which was
not too bad.
Good for me and him to get all that out. So any questions, obviously, I know most of you have got Lee's contact details. What we will be doing, this is the last part, is I think from September 2024, we are going on to a new booking system that we will send out information. So we will probably end up cancelling a majority of memberships at the end of this year and restarting in a new booking system, which is a lot more convenient for us and for you. So we'll keep posted with that, but we will do all the amendments our end. And yeah, any feedback would be welcome to this video, and to obviously showing you the program. Lee will send you out this link if you obviously for you to see it, and obviously send you out a link for the program itself so you can have a little flick through. Good?
Yeah, all good.
Right, thank you everybody. Have a lovely summer if we don't see you at the summer holidays, and hopefully see you September 2024.
Thank you.